Right now, we are facing a very serious problem of accreditation of our law faculty. Now, we were able to secure an interim accreditation for our law faculty. That interim accreditation is over, and we are expecting any time from now the accreditation process for law to begin. And law is accredited by two bodies. You have the Legal Council of Nigeria, and we have the NUC, National Universities Commission. And their conditions, especially those conditions by the Legal Council, are very stringent. For example, we were able to secure interim accreditation because the government helped us to put on a very impressive infrastructure buildings for the Faculty of Law. But unfortunately, those buildings, those classrooms, those offices were not furnished. Now, the cost of furnishing those offices and those classrooms is conservatively put at 119 million naira now. We have sought to get government to help in furnishing and providing those facilities. And government is having very serious problems with other sectors of the economy, with civil servants, with payment of salaries and whatever. And we are told that we have to look inwards to solve that problem. Now, that is just one item, the furnishing of those offices and those facilities. Now, law, which is one of the courses that many of our people in Benue apply to come and do. Law, up to now, law is only admitting 100 candidates a year. We have been pressing, because every year, this year, there were over 1,500 qualified Benue indigenes to come into law.
Prof, let me come in, because you made mention of conditional charges, and the school is needing 190 million
for furnishing the offices and the classroom that are meant for law students.
So if one may ask, is it the duty of the students to be part of the 190 million you are mentioning?
Well, where we cannot get funding from government to cover this, the challenges the government is facing now, and we have been told that we have to look inwards to solve that problem. I don't know how else. All universities are not commercial ventures. We do our best, but in the final analysis, we have to ask people who are sending their children here to help us, meeting those challenges for the good of the state, for the good of the parents themselves. Because if these courses are not accredited, I don't know why would they be sending their children? And in which university are they going to have their children trained at a less cost than what we are proposing to them? So it is for the good of the state and good of children here that we are even doing this. And we believe that our law faculty has had a reputation, that reputation of producing quality lawyers. We go to law school, we shine. Our children are doing very well, and we cannot afford to allow that law to disappear from our university. It will not be for the good of the state and for the good of even the parents themselves. We are working hard, as I told you. This is something that it took us a lot of planning, a lot of thinking to do. Do we allow this course law to disappear, or do we find ways of solving it? I think government that funds the school says, as of now, considering all the other commitments they have, it will not be possible to bring up that money within this time we're waiting for accreditation. What else can we do? We appeal to parents, we appeal to people to understand with us. We too, those of us who are in positions of responsibility in this university, we have our children here too. We have wards, we have some of us are paying up to 3-4 people here. But we have to do this because this is the only way we can serve the university from losing its quality, from losing what the people of Benue and people of Nigeria know of Benue State University. It is not a small thing for us. It's not a light-hearted thing we have undertaken. It is something we felt we have to do to save the institution.
Is it healthy to the parent from the decision the management has taken?
We too would have loved a situation where we didn't have to ask anybody to pay anything to come here. If it was possible to do that, we would have been very happy to say parents should come here and pay next to nothing. All along, this university have been struggling to continue this way. But we have come to a stage where in the whole country, people were looking for other ways of raising money. In this state, you can see that in Benue State, more frantic efforts are being made in tax collection. This is from our own experience, this is a new thing. But this new thing is being accepted because the economic situation in the country means that people are looking inwards. And the government has told us that we have to look inward to be able to come up with something to sustain the institution. So, asking me whether it is healthy for the parents, it is neither healthy for the parents nor healthy for us, the lecturers and the people administering the university, but we feel that it is a dose that we just have to take for the survival of the university.
Prof, considering the fact that the issue of planning crisis has been on ground for quite a long time now, most parents have been displayed, and the issue of salary that we used to know in those days is not the way it is now. So is there any way that the school management can reverse such a decision so that our parents or our farmers will be able to send their children to the Benue State University?
Well, what I can tell you is that so much noise has been made about these conditional charges, and if one looks, some of those people who are criticizing and shouting so much have not even taken a good look at what the charges and what the total amount that is being proposed. These charges are not as high as what people are thinking, because before we came up with what we have, we had to do a survey of a lot of universities in this country, both north and south, to see what other people are doing, and we had to take a critical look at our own socio-economic situation in Benue to arrive at this middle course we have taken. We have known some universities that are charging much, much higher than what we are charging, but we have to take into consideration our own peculiar conditions, and that is how we fixed the charges that we have here and government has approved. It is because we are taking everything into consideration, and we went around to see. So if people are complaining so much, they may go to other universities, they may send their children to other universities, they get placements for them, and find that they're asked to pay much higher than what we are asking them to do. And these charges, most of them, it's a one-off thing. You pay now, and that's the end. Until your child graduates, you are not going to pay anything like that again. So I think, as much as it may not be a pleasant pill to swallow, for the love of the institution and for the love of our state, I think parents should take a second look and just swallow this pill as something that is necessary for us to make progress.
Prof, you keep on emphasizing on conditional charges. What are these charges?
Well, we have charges here for making us buy laboratory consumables. We have charges here on collection of letter of acceptance. We have charges here on a number of issues. I think there are just about 9 charges that we are saying students who are coming in for the first time have to pay. But by the way, what we are saying conditional charges, they don't affect returning students at all. They don't affect them. These charges, we have been very careful so that parents who already have children here and are used to paying what they have been paying are not affected. These are new charges, very minimal, just to show up our financial base to enable us carry out some of the things we want to do. That needs to be understood. Those charges, we have put them on our portal. You will see them there. They are not outrageous. I was very shocked to hear people talking of outrageous charges in Benue State University, and this is said by people who have not even bothered to look at them. Let them go to the university portal and they will see what I'm talking about. Because like most things people comment on what they have not even understood properly. These are things that I'm sure if anybody bothered to look at, they will appreciate, considering the difficulties that we are going through, that we have been very careful to cut down, to reduce these charges so that, to make them so that they can be affordable to Benue parents. They are, like I said, they are just about 9 charges. I think they are just 10.
How much does these 10 charges you made mention? Can you say is the cost of these 10 charges you made mention?
No, these charges are not uniform. That's another thing. They are not uniform across, because those who are taking courses like law, medicine, and courses in management sciences, their charges are slightly higher than those who are coming in for maybe plain science or arts. And so they are into 3 categories really, depending on the kind of course one is taking. So they are not that uniform, you see, but we have taken into consideration the kind of courses and the kind of level of expenditure that is needed for running these courses. So they are not uniform. Some people will pay slightly higher than others. But for example, laboratory, practical, sanitary charges, these are applied to students mostly in environmental sciences, management sciences, economics, mass comm, theater arts, because of the theater, the consumables involved in there, and for courses that are run in laboratories. But for other people, which is a new course, precisely, which is a new charge that we have introduced, is precisely targeted at helping us to solve the accreditation problems that are directly confronting us. So we have to, and all we are asking students to pay for that, if you are in the College of Health Science, Law, or Management Sciences, you will pay 10,000. Students in other disciplines will pay 5,000. I think that is affordable, considering that if a course that your child is coming in is not accredited, the child may not even come into that course at all. Because once a course is not accredited, you cannot admit anybody to come in to do it. So if people who are asking us that we should take children more and more, they are not prepared to pay that these courses should be sustained, where are we going to admit them?
Prof, with this explanation now that you talked a lot, how long has Benue State University sensitized the parent or the public before taking such a decision?
Well, as I said, it took us some time to go around other universities to see what they have done. And after we have collected all the information, we also had to pass, we scheduled to pass to council. Council was to meet in March.
Did they approve of the...
Council was to meet in March. But as you can see, and this was to go to council for approval. Then we will now go out, because we couldn't tell anybody what was not approved. Before council will meet, as you remember, our council was dissolved. So, in place of our council, we now finished our proposals and directed them to government. Government looked at them and gave us a go-ahead. At that point, government emphasized that we should get stakeholders sensitized about this. That was very good because it was in line with what we also planned to do. So we invited the students on the campus. The students, yes.
You engaged the students in the discussion of how the school fees will be hiking?
Yes, we invited the students. They were on holidays, but we enabled them to come and participate. We will enlighten them on what we have done. We addressed the student. They came, the student union officials and members of student parliament. We invited them to come because those who are going to be affected with these new charges are not yet on campus. They are the first, those who are to come in. So what we did now is to invite the returning students, the ESCO of our student union and their parliament, to come and share our thoughts on this with them. And we did. They came. We took a long time to deliberate. And they said they were going to, we should give them just 6 days for them to respond to what we had told them. Not only that, Before the following day, they went to government house. They didn't come to us to tell us what they felt about what we did. They went to government house and said they wanted those charges to be off. Government invited us. We looked at everything together with the students, and one charge only was modified, and that is the acceptance charge for accepting to be a student of Benue State University in the first place. We have proposed that to be 25,000. It was slashed to 22. After that, the escort, the students was there. After that, we were told that we can go ahead and implement that.
You mean the students agree with the decision of the council and the entire university management?
Well, they went to government house, and that is what we were told, that the only thing because that charge of 25,000 for acceptance, they used the example of MCA, that MCA is a private university but they are paying less. So on the basis of that, government said, okay, if that is so objectionable to you, it was slashed to 22,000. And that, as far as we are concerned, is the only modification that was done on what was discussed. So your question was how far we have sensitized them. Yes. We sensitized the students, we have involved them, even though what we are going to do,
0 to 3 years.
No, even though what we are going to do does not affect them. It does not affect those people, these students, but we had to reach out to them because they are the ones who are our students now, and they are the leaders of students. So we had to reach out to them. None of what we are saying here affects these ones, but we did. And then, of course, this has been on our portal for quite some time. Once it was approved, we put it on our portal, and our portal is accessible to everybody. These things are in the news. So we have done our best to sensitize. The length of time, we are talking about 2-3 years. Yes. It can't be done that way. Why? Because we were even hoping that we will not go to this. If government had come up with the money, or if somebody had brought all this money, we didn't need to spend 2-3 years planning to do this. We had to do this, as I told you earlier, because of the pressing requirements that have come at a time that government is not capable of helping us to solve them. If it wasn't because of the pressing circumstances, and I told you that, for example, give an example of taxation in our state. We had to, this is it's a 2016 thing. This rushing, making sure that every taxable thing is taxed. It's a new development, but it's coming on the heels of the economic downturn. People are trying to find ways of keeping things going, and Benue State University is not an exception.
For the past 22 minutes, we've been talking to Professor Julius Ashiko. Professor Julius Ashiko is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Benue State University. I've been talking on the topic, school fees increase. My name is Simon Ikba. If you want to send your comments and contribution, you can text to 08062674078. I'll take the number again, 08062674078. Prof, from the way you explain, from the way you talk about this issue, we observe that Benue State University management is trying to send out the student out of the school, the student who are yet to come in because of the charges you made mention. What do you think it should be done to try to solve this issue out?
It's wrong to think like that, because let me tell you something. We schedule that new students should come in as of Monday this week. And we opened our portal to them to start paying the charges. And quite a number of students were paying until the student union, made up of students who are not involved in this at all, came on Monday to block the gate to stop anybody from coming in and start the demonstration. And they insisted that we should close the portal as a condition for them to even discuss anything with us. So those people who are ready to pay and are in fact paying are the new students. People are ready to pay and they are paying because they know that if they don't pay here, if they want to go elsewhere, it's even going to be worse. So you see, and these people are Benue people. These students that are already paying, they are Benue students. Well, of course, we appreciate that not everybody in Benue is on the same equal way to do. But as I'm saying, these charges that are just a one-off thing, quite a number of parents are prepared to pay. And the student union members who insisted that the portal should be blocked knew that if they allowed any length of time, these courses will be subscribed. Students are going to pay. So to say that we are trying to exclude or send people away is neither here nor there. These charges, yes, if you look at them, they are a departure from what we have been doing, but we have tried to explain why this departure. But on the other hand, they are not such that they cannot be paid by Benue indigenes. Because don't forget that the same Benue people are paying secondary school fees that are much, much higher than this. They are. You know it. So somebody pays about 300,000 in a secondary school per term, and when he comes to Benue State University, the person insists that he should only pay 30,000 for the whole year. If there was money, we could continue doing that. But honestly, as you can know, there's no money. So but tell me, why is it that it is so easy for parents to pay about 300,000 per term in a secondary school, and yet raise all the hue and cry when they are asked to pay something slightly over 100,000? Just why is it so? So we're not sending any parents away or any children away. We're simply saying that faced with the conditions that we are going through, if we want to save our dear university, we have to just make that little more sacrifice. That's all. And this sacrifice, to the best of our understanding, is within the reach of parents, because what they are paying now is a one-off thing. Pay for that, make that contribution now, and for the remaining years your child is going to be here, you are not.
Made mention of the university took a decision of bringing or making a pronouncement of conditional charges. You went around to Southern University, some university in the north and in the west. Can you briefly tell us about what they pay in some of the state university?
So I don't have the data to be able, I don't want to give any wrong number for any university, but what I can say is that if you check what some of these universities are paying, it's open, anybody can find out what they are paying. We took that, analyzed it, and took a middle course. That's what I told you earlier. We took a middle course so that what we are paying is neither higher than what we got from some of these very exorbitant universities, and it is not so different from what the lower universities are. But I told you also that some of the universities, especially in the educationally deprived areas, are paying is something that is almost like they are giving them, they are still in a situation where they are doing universities free. There are governments, those few governments that are doing that are giving them whatever they are asking for free. So we cannot go to that extent because we are not in that category again. But just let me tell you that even with what we have done, the middle of the road course we have taken, there are still so many universities that are charging fees that are much, much higher than us. But again, as I emphasized, ours is a one-off thing. If our child pays in Benue State University a fee of over 100,000 this year as a new student, that is the last is going to pay that kind of fee, because it is not going to repeat like that. They will go back to the 30,000 they have been paying.
What message the public out there?
Well, education is the biggest legacy any parent can leave for his or her children. We have come to a stage where we are now saying that a little sacrifice needs to be made so that we can keep this university going. We can keep our university having that kind of standard that we are known for.
Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Today's edition of Education 103.5 has come to an end. Special thanks to Professor Julius Ashiko for enlightening us.